Good morning, everyone. It's Amy with Mama Bear Blue, and we are live. It's Mondays with Mom, and I'm here with my mom, Debbie. I don't make you say it anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like you're introducing me.
Let's get this pulled up here. I hope you guys all had a good weekend. As you're popping on here, be sure to give us a thumbs up and share the video out if you could. We would appreciate that. My Facebook page, you'll get announcements on times.
Just dump things?
Yeah. You'll get announcements on when we might not be going live, but we go 2 or 3 times a month live on Mondays. So we do crafts and thrift flips and lots of fun stuff. So today we are actually, well, it looks pretty good. See, I think our sound's
really
good too.
Clear.
It is clear. I think it's the lighting. Thank you, Rod, for hanging the light. I don't think he can log on anymore. He's something wrong with his app on his phone, so we're going to fix that. But so IOD came out a few weeks ago with a couple new paint inlays, and we're going to be using one today called Floriography. And it's really pretty. It's got lots of old vintage labels and florals, and we are going to be doing inlays onto some thrifted things. Some glass bottles and also a couple little jewelry box things, I guess. The Lane cedar boxes that you can usually seem to find at Goodwill. I've learned the story behind these. Did you already know it?
Did they give them away when you bought
to high school seniors? I guess they were a little gift when, I don't know, maybe they bought their Hope Chest or something, and then they got this little Cedar Lane wood box. They're really cute. And so I thought we would paint these and try, or at least paint that one and get one of the inlays on it. And all the products we use, the paint and inlays and brushes and all of that, you can find at aimeemamabearblue.com. And, all right, I think we're ready, Mom, for me to continue here. So on Floriography, you get 8 pages, and I'm going to try to hold up the front and back for you. So they're gray, like grayscale, and there's 8 pages, but you get lots of really cute old vintage labels and flowers and botanicals, and I just think they're really cute. So what we're going to be doing today is actually putting some inlays on glass bottles. Some of these are vintage, some are not. Remember these? Yes. I love the shape of these. We used to put the cork lights in it. So there's that, and a couple that are shaped like this. And I did get a head start already. I painted this one. It was kind of a greenish color glass. It's got a little texture to it, so I'm interested in seeing what the inlays look like on that. And I did get a little bit of a head start on this small one. Actually, I was able to go ahead and put the inlay on it, so we'll see how that does in a few minutes, and I can walk you through the steps of how this goes. I did go ahead and try an attempt on fabric, which I don't know. I don't know if it's I was going to frame this little piece of drop cloth, so right now we have the inlay on it. I haven't peeled it yet. I want to see how it does, and I think I've tried fabric one other time. I'd like to watch a couple more videos from the experts on this, though, first before we do anything big. So I'm going to let that sit. I don't know. We might pull it in a few minutes and see how that did on the canvas drop cloth. So, okay, I'm going to get a second coat on this glass. So the DIY paint we're using on both projects today is Tarnished Pearl. It's one of the neutral, really pretty colors from DIY Paint. It is on my website. I do have it in stock. It's a nice neutral.
It is. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Should I dry this and
another? So you got one coat on there. That's good. So we'll dry it and get another coat on. I'm getting my second coat on this glass, and then I'll put a first coat on that other one. DIY paint. It's a clay-based paint. Oh, here. No, it's here. It's here. We moved the gun. No, sorry. But it will be. That's where we'll set it, so we know where it is. And I won't be tangling you up in the cord anymore. DIY paint is clay-based. It goes on any surface, metal, glass, wood, without any prep work, which is great. It's highly pigmented and thick, and so it covers really nicely. A lot of people I know are kind of nervous about using paint inlays But with sets like this, like with this Floriography set, there's a lot of little labels and things. So you can kind of get your feet wet, kind of get a good start on learning how to do them with these little bitty ones before you tackle something larger. But they're really pretty. They're pigment that is on this paper, the carrier paper. It's pigment, and it embeds into wet paint or the wet top coat. When you embed it into paint, you have to spritz it with some water, which I'll do in a minute, let it dry, re-spritz it, and then pull off the inlay. But it's a little different when you're embedding it into sealer, so we'll talk about that. This one actually is embedded with sealer. Now I will try to pull this off just as soon as I get one more bottle painted. Let's see. Let's do this one. This is a cute one, and this is a good size for some of these vintage labels. Some of these we thrifted. Some I found in the woods. And some of them I got at Hobby Lobby. You can get them pretty inexpensively at Hobby Lobby when they have their 40% off on the little glass bottles in the very back of the store. So watch for that.
We went by there the other day. There were 75% off. What? But I don't know what.
Spring? I bet it was spring. Well, I have to go today because I need brown paper.
Oh my goodness.
And that's the best priced place to get brown paper. This is just the first coat on this one. I'll be using that too.
Okay.
But this this inlay looks really pretty embedded onto cream color or white color paint. Can't tell if we're freezing up again. Okay, so we can talk about that. That's a good example of something to talk about. Yeah, no. So with the first coat of DIY paint like Mom did, and then she started her second coat, sometimes if you feel it dragging, you need to spritz a little bit of water. So like if you can feel that brush drag, you're going to pull up that first layer. You don't want to do that. So you just a really light, or even your brush, it's just a little bit of water is all you need to help that move. Yeah. Even a little more. Here. Try that. It should move a little better. And you want to use a really light hand on your second coat. All right.
Let's see, it's still doing it.
So let's get you a softer brush. Sometimes some of my brushes are getting a little old, Mom, and I feel like I probably need to soak them in some Murphy's oil soap and
really clean them.
Yeah. Where's that little? This one. This is pretty soft.
Okay.
That should be better. Sometimes those brushes, as they get older, the ends get too much on them or something. Yeah, and then you don't want that to happen to your. I hope your phone didn't die. Let's see here. There we are. Okay. As you're popping on here, be sure to say hi. Facebook has not been kind as far as comments. It won't show me sometimes till afterwards, and that's really frustrating. All right, so on this one we've painted, what I did was paint 2 coats of tarnished pearl, and then on the front I put a coat of the DIY liquid patina, so it's a clear sealer, and so we're embedding it into sealer on this one. So I'm going to wet it down and hope for the best here. Let me turn this down. And then I'm going to just start peeling and see if we have, it's pretty good. Okay. So when you start peeling the inlay, there we go. It's kind of got an old-fashioned aromatic tooth powder with some dentures. There's some really fun labels on this one. So we're going to let that dry, and then I will seal it up. When we seal it, we are not going to use a brush. We're going to spray on. almost tripped on my pen.
Uh-oh.
We're going to spray on a 50-50 mix of Big Top and water. Because you don't want to use the brush for obvious reasons, right? Obvious? Is that obvious? Maybe it's not obvious.
Obvious.
Is it obvious?
I don't
You'll if you use a brush with the
50-50.
sealer on top of the inlay, you're going to smear your inlay all over the place. So if we just spritz it and seal it up, then you're good to go. But we're going to let that dry a little bit before we do that. I'm going to get second coats onto these two pieces of glass. And Goodwill is always filled with glass stuff you can do this on.
Yeah.
If you need to practice a little bit, you aren't like spending a ton of money to be able to do that.
I don't like the way this looks. Sorry.
You know what we can do if it's too gloppy?
We can sand.
Yeah, we can sand it a little bit. It's fine. It's fine.
See,
What you don't want to do though, it just now hit me. We don't want to paint the box shut. So just keep opening it every now and then and making sure that we don't have a seal on the... You'll get it. Here, use a... Ready?
Yeah.
Even if you smear your paint, we can touch it. There you go. It's not sealed shut. Just something to think about.
We'll just leave it open
That's
for
better.
now.
Okay. These would be cute as like little bud vases or just decor. Like a trio of them or something sitting somewhere. All right. So that's a second coat on that one. And whoa.
Still have the price tag on.
I do. Yeah, I do. I don't know where it was from though. That doesn't look like Hobby Lobby or...
No, it doesn't.
I don't know where that one came from. This was Goodwill, probably. So I think we're going to try embedding on these two. We'll embed them into paint instead of the sealer. So let me get this coat on, dry it, and then the next coat will be what the inlay goes into. All right. Okay. So those are have two coats. So I'm going to be able to... My next coat will be putting these in. So maybe I'll go ahead and pick those out that would fit these jars well. I like this one that says Rose Glycerin Lotion. So last week we worked on some thrift flips with transfers. If you guys didn't get to see a couple of the finished projects, I did post one yesterday of the cutting board with all the birds, and so I might grab that here in just a second. Let me forget that. And those turned out really pretty. I was able to mix in the menagerie transfer with a little bit of the gold Emporium transfer. Looks really, really cool. All right, let's get this one dried. Before I get that first coat on there. If you're just joining us, we are using some glass bottles and some vintage boxes to paint and then put the new IOD paint inlay on called Floriography. Do you need this?
That'll be perfect for that rose.
I know. It's a good fit on this one. All right. So we're going to, that's on low, you knew that? Did you know that? Okay.
Because I didn't want to
Be
make
too
a lot
loud?
of noise.
So you just need to put a light coat of paint, not super thick. I have a piece of thick paint there. And then you're going to lay the inlay right down onto it. You want to make sure you've put paint everywhere that you want that inlay to be, because the paint is what it's going to embed into. So put it on there, and I kind of just use my finger. You can also use the IOD brayer if you'd like to kind of smooth things out. Okay, so it's sitting there kind of doing its thing. Now to activate it, we spritz on just a little bit of water. And then I like to take either a rag or what you need. You just waiting? Just waiting.
Does it look all right?
Yeah, we're going to sand down some of the
crud.
The crud. You have a couple
clay.
It's just the clay. It's just a couple thick spots of paint. We can sand that flat though.
Okay.
So the water activates that. We're going to let this dry for just a little bit, and then we're going to peel it off, and you guys will see how cool it looks. But yeah, look at that perfect fit on that bottle.
That's cute.
Yeah. This might be a new one. The shape of it's kind of cool, like an arch. And I think it'll fit one of those sides pretty well. It'll wrap around just a little bit, but not too much. Okay. I think I'll use this side. So back in with the tarnished pearl. I almost called it crinoline. They look really similar, but this is tarnished pearl. So everywhere I want that paint inlay to go is where I'm putting this other coat of paint. And is that going to be, I need to go on the sides just a little more because it does curve around. If you guys have any questions at all, or you're watching on the replay, be sure to let me know. I'll go back and answer those for you. And afterward, I'll put the link to these, everything we're using today, in the comments in case you're interested in getting those and trying them for yourself. I do have everything stocked at Farm Girl Mercantile in Franklin in my booth, and also Southport Antique Mall. It's going, it looks like it's sticking, which means there's paint underneath it, which is good.
It's because you know what you're doing.
Well, pretty good.
Yes.
Experience.
That's it.
I'm kind of rolling it flat, making sure it's making good contact with that glass, and working out some wrinkles, and slightly spritz it. So we're going to set that aside and let it dry. You don't want to over wet it. I've done that before, and it's not good. The pigment doesn't do well when you do that. So we'll peel that off in just a bit and see how it looks. Okay, let's talk about your box, Mom.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do. And I think I stole it from you. I had the page of what we were using on yours. There it is. You want to go ahead and cut it out while I'm working on that?
That I can do.
This one, the Perfume London. I think that's pretty.
Let's see what you can do with that.
First, we're going to dry it a little more, and then I'm going to get my sandpaper out and get a little bit of the texture that came from the chunky paint off of that. It's not too bad. I'm sure you guys probably can't see it. Sides and get them the way we want it after, but we can get going on the top part.
Okay.
Here it is. Paper towel. So I'm just going to get all my sandy stuff off before I put another coat on, right, to embed this in. Unless you want to do it. You want to do it?
I'll be glad to watch.
Do you want to paint another bottle for me while we wait?
That I can do.
Okay, let's, let's do that one. I'm sure that was a liquor bottle of some sort that came out of the woods.
Yeah.
We have a woods on our property where we've been told
That.
it was a party woods.
It was a
Long
party.
before we moved here. And so we found some cool bottles though.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, that's going to be a great fit. So let me get that.
I'll let you go.
No, I
first.
have this too. I can use this.
Well, that's the one that drug.
Oh, it had the chunky parts
Yeah.
on the bottom.
Here.
Okay. All right. So this is the layer that we're actually going to embed the paint into. It's still pretty thick. There we go. So we want enough that it will actually embed. Not gloppy, but not too little. Can I use yours just to dig out a little, the last of that paint? We are pushing it, aren't we? on this tarnished pearl.
I didn't know if you could put water in there.
I feel like I need a little more. Yeah, I can put a little water. We could do that, Mom. Here, let's just squirt a little water in the bottom of the can and then stir a little. We'll get enough to get us. You'll probably get one more coat on that, and that'll probably be the end of it.
Well, we've made good use of it.
Yeah, we made every drop. I probably waited too long and it started to dry too much.
Uh-oh.
That's what the DIY paint dries very quickly, so you don't have a lot of open time with it sometimes to work with it. So I don't know, it's really drying quick.
You want that?
And I need to, I think I need that. We may have to open another can of tarnished pearl in a minute. Sorry, I got to get enough on here that it actually works.
That's true.
You know? And I know that it's going to wrap around the top just a little in this bottom. So, all right. Let's see how far you can get with the rest of it.
Okay.
So when you do put the inlay on, one tip too is you have to make sure that the dark side, because there's, you know, the side with the actual pigment on it, is facing down. I'm going to stand up so I can get this pretty lined up. It's going to make a cute little box. Okay. And again, I'm just going to work out my wrinkles. And use the brayer so it makes some good contact with the paint. Let's see if I got enough paint under the side. I need just a tad more. Wrap down a little farther than I expected. I think this side's okay. No, I think I'm good. Okay, so we're going to spritz it. We're going to activate this with water and set it aside. Doesn't that look pretty already with that color?
Yes, it does.
Oh, you want to dry and try to get one more coat on that?
Sure.
Okay. So, setting that aside, let's go back and do a little check on the two bottles here. I'm gonna, after you do that, I'm gonna hit this with the heat gun.
Okay.
And I'm gonna test a little corner just to see if I can really see if it's embedding well into that. Let me move these out of the way. There are so many projects you can do with this, because there's just so many little labels and flowers and things. And another tip, when you embed into the paint like this and you pull it up, you can actually save these, just turn them over and let them dry, the part you peel off, because you can use it a second time. Some people have used it a third time. Just keep in mind that each time you use it, it gets a little like more faded, but that's kind of a cool look too, if that's what you're going for. Here, I'll do this. Kind of a distressed look. I'm going to test an edge, and if it doesn't look like it's ready, I'm going to re-spritz it and let it sit. All right, let's go with the one I did first, which was the rose. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I think we're good, at least in the part I can see. See that?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to hold this up because this is always my favorite part of inlays. Everybody loves this part. So we're going to start pulling, and it's embedded right into the paint. Cool. Okay, so you can set this aside and let it dry and get another use out of it. Some touch-ups to do around the side of the bottle, but that will make, after I'm going to spritz this with a 50-50 mix of Big Top and water to seal it down, and then touch it up, and that'll make a cute little bud vase. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay. And let's move on to this one. Now this is that one that was kind of a bumpy textured jar. So it may look a little more distressed when we pull it off. I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to reactivate it with water and check an edge. This one was the one I did second, so it's had a couple less minutes than. I still see it, but I feel like maybe we could get a little more to come off if I let it dry. If we dry it again and try it. All right. The heat gun. Okay. Don't catch your carrier paper on fire.
Spray some water on there too.
Yep. We can probably get some sides of this, Mom, if you use the brush around the sides of that can.
Yeah,
We're really pushing it on that.
That's all right.
Yeah. All right, let's try down here and see what we're looking like. Oh, yeah. That was better. It needed one more spritz and dry. Cool. Okay. This one looks just slightly more distressed than the other, but you can definitely still read it. Look at that. That looks like an old, English,
Cologne?
no, just because it says cologne. No, what are they? Not a cheese thing. Zeb and Jamie from Jamie Advantage are always going to get the Crocs that have all the cute signage on them. I don't know. There was a name for it. That is cute. That will make a really neat base. So I just need to touch up the top and bottoms of this. And then, okay, let's talk about sealing these. And then we'll pull the one that the box Mom was working on. So this was the first one I'd done. And it's already embedded into some sealer. I don't know. I think I prefer to embed into paint. But the sealer worked too. But we're going to spray that with the 50-50 mix. And get that sealed up, so we don't use a brush on it and mess it up. I'm just going to let that drip dry. But I am going to do the whole thing because you want it to all look the same as, you don't want it to look like only the front has sealer on it because it'll be a slightly different color. I'm surprised this spray bottle is working. You know, usually when we use the mix, it'll clog the tip and then permanently it's not working, but this is good. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry, and then I'm going to give these guys just a little more time before I do that, so that might be after the live. So let's talk about your box. And this one we can set. This has 2 coats, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we can wait and get.
If I need to. Oh, there's a drip.
Yeah, just a little bit. We might put one more coat on it in a second.
Okay.
And we can always pick a label and get that one done after. But I also wanted to try to pull the fabric one, even though I don't think it's going to work. My test fabric piece.
Yeah.
All right, this is still damp, so let's get it. Okay. Now I'm going to reactivate it with some water and test a corner. See if it's ready. I don't know. I think it needs one more time. I want it to be a little more bold than that. So, okay, let's do the heat gun trick one more time. I just don't want it to be, the reason I'm softening it up because I don't want a lot of drippy water as I pull this up to fall back onto the image, because it will mess up. All right, let's try this up here. a sideways pull. Let's see what we get. It's pretty. You guys see it? I don't think I can hold the whole box up to get. Cool.
Yeah, that turned out nice.
I love this part. All right.
That looks nice.
I know. We'll set that aside to dry in case we decide to use that a second time somewhere. So it started out as one of these little lane boxes. Check out the wood aisle at your Goodwill because you can almost always find these little cedar boxes. And we have 2 or 3 coats of tarnished pearl, and then we have one of the Floriography labels. This one says Parfum. So we'll get this touched up. We need to put another coat here, sand it a little bit, and probably paint the bottom and seal it with
We'll
spray.
definitely need to open another can of paint.
Yeah. If we're going to use tarnished pearl, we definitely do.
Yeah.
And then we had the first one I started with. It's going to be probably a little bud base, the lotion, and this will make a really cute vase. And then, okay, just for fun, I just want to see how this is doing. On this one, I tried embedding it into sealer over a couple things of sealer, a couple coats of sealer and paint dried on fabric. But I think I need to do a little more testing on this to see if it's going to work. Yeah, it's just too... Yeah, not going to work. But I know there are a couple good videos from people online.
That can do
Yeah, that can really... they've actually used these on jean jackets and stuff like that. Looks so cute. So I need to try that again. That is not something I've really tackled too much of. I was doing the inlays on fabric.
Try.
Yeah, it was. So these are a lot of fun. Don't let the paint inlays scare you, especially on sets like this that have a lot of little elements that you can use on little projects. But I'll put all the links to everything in the comments later today. If you're watching the replay, be sure to say hi, and any questions, let me know. We will be back in 2 weeks. We're taking next Monday off. We're going to go to a little flea market, so maybe we'll take some video or something while we're there of what treasures we can maybe find there. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. My son will be putting this up on my YouTube channel soon, trying to grow that a little bit. So if you don't follow me on YouTube, I would appreciate it. It's Mama Bear Blue, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. So we will see you then. Thanks for joining us. Bye.